Morning, y'all. It's Kate at Kate's Garden Chicken and Cat Rambles, and it's Thursday, August 31st. Paul's birthday, but it's also last day of the month, and what is it? The 24th of September is the first day of fall. I sure hope that September is mild. Today we are very mild. Our high today is supposed to be 74, 75. I find that amazing. Considering my sister out in Austin, Texas, I think her high today is supposed to be 103. I know it kills me that it can be, such huge differences. But anyway, everyone's doing well. I think they're saying some sort of little cool front dip down. And so the Northeast is a little bit cooler today. We did not get anything from Hurricane now tropical storm Idalia. My heart and prayers go out to everyone in the South who were affected by it. Last time I've been to Cedar Key in Florida. I really enjoyed the little area, but yeah, those places really got hit. But we are very cloudy today, but no rain in the forecast for like the next 6-7 days. I think this cloudiness is coming from the past couple of days, probably from the very, very outer cloud bands of Hurricane Franklin, and then now with Tropical Storm Idalia coming off of Wilmington, North Carolina, and going out into the Atlantic. We're getting some of the very outermost, I think, clouds. I think the cool front coming down on us kind of kept any of that from kept her from moving up the coast. It would have been nice if we would have got a little bit of tropical weather come up the coast, but we're fine. We're not overly dry. We're dry, but we're not, we're not sun parched. So it looks like Miss Luna's going to have to put a dress on her. She's molting, plus I think that's from the boys. Nothing's raw, it's just her pink skin. She is a handful when you have to hold her. Silver lace Wyandottes are not they can be very friendly, and she's friendly to me, but they're not the kind of bird that likes to be held and handled a lot. That's just, it's part of their breed's nature. So this morning, Paul came back from the store this morning, and he was carrying a watermelon in and some groceries. And right here, all along, I call it their little boardwalk, their little promenade area. We had all the adults were just sitting here along this fence, facing out, so they could watch him walk by. But they were all sitting in a row, and then the young ones were up under the shade cloth, which just shades the area right there along the fence where they like to hang out. But yeah, they were all 10 of them were right there along the fence, just watching him come in and out. So yeah, I've been getting a couple pullet eggs, one a day, and I believe that is coming from the Colombian rock cross there, Miss Lily. Both leghorns are laying, and Luna is still laying. That's the silver lace Wyandotte. My Brahmas are starting a molt. You can see it a lot around their feathers. You can probably see it in the one furthest away, the lightest colored one there to the right, Miss Neve. You can kind of see some gray back there on the back of her buff booty, and that's where she's starting to mold. So they are almost a full week into their vitamin, water, electrolyte, probiotic boosting. It's a product that you see it on several channels, but it's called Rooster Booster, and it's for just giving them an extra good boost of vitamins and electrolytes and probiotics for gut health. Gut health is very important in chickens. They've also been eating cherry tomatoes. There's one right there. She's like, that one might be mine. So yeah, yesterday I picked one of my big sugar baby watermelons. You can see the remnants of it there. It was about 12 or more pounds. It was heavy. I could not just carry it just in one hand. I could if I lifted it up and held it up against my shoulder, but yeah, it was really heavy. its little tendril, curly Q tendril, had started to brown on its end. It wasn't totally dried up yet. So it was more of a tester because you can tell by all the little flags here, I'm going to have a lot of watermelon. And it was all pink inside, a little more red on one end. I took a little taste of it. It was great flavor, but it was not quite red and sweet enough for what a human would like to eat. And so um, instead of just throwing it out in the compost heap, I threw it out there for the chickens. Not sure how they would feel about a not fully ripe watermelon, and they went to town on it. You know, chickens don't have taste buds, so if there were sour parts of it, which I don't think they care, because even on a sweet watermelon, they will eat it all the way down to just the thinnest layer of white. So here's this big one, and you can see right there is its tendril, and you can see it's still green. And that one's probably going to be close to 15 pounds. But all of these, though, they're starting to get a little bit drier. That one's caught on a piece of grass. They're still too green. But I had to do a test. The other one I pulled from it was that side, and it was huge. It was bigger than that one. But they're loving it. So last night I freaked out because I couldn't find Luna. When at bedtime, about 7:30 now, as it's getting dark a little earlier, I don't have, even if I end up putting an automatic chicken door inside on the coop end, the gate to their run, I every night come out and I count legs and feet, because usually they're all 10 stuffed up on one roost, you know. And I'm like, maybe I'm counting wrong, because they get all bunched up in there. So sometimes the Brahmas, when they're squatted down and they're all bunched together, they can hide one of the other chickens behind them quite easily. But I couldn't find Luna anywhere, and I was like, oh my God. Earlier in the evening, about an hour before that, I'd heard some squawking, but it wasn't like, oh, a predator got us squawking. It's more like, I'm a bossy chicken and you're lower on the pecking order, and I'm going to boss you around. So I went looking around for eggs, and in case I had a bird down somewhere. So I found on the other side of this fence, there's another watermelon that was hanging. It was probably about that size, but it was hanging on the opposite side in the chicken yard. And you could tell where they had scratched and pecked at it. It was most likely going to just probably rot on the vine. So I pulled it off and threw it out in the woods. But yeah, this is a sad little cucumber bags. They're still sitting there, but you can tell the watermelon are enjoying climbing over it. Yeah, there's a bunch of grass here in between, and I can't really go in there and cut and pull that out without risking the watermelon. So I don't know if that one's going to be viable. It's got kind of some markings on it. I don't know if that was from me moving it around or what, but I still want to freeze some of the from the this is Greek basil and that's Greek oregano. So I still need to get some of those cut, but I'm trying to let them, you know, get the most out of them before I start hacking on them and cutting them apart. But I picked some more partially ripened tomatoes this morning and a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes. This is such a sad looking cherry tomato plant, but look, it's making more blooms up here. So you know, some of this is just, I think, just from the sun, and the heat's been so bad, but it's still producing like crazy. Those are all not quite red enough, though they look like they're red enough. They're not. So I had a bunch, ate a handful, and the chickens got a handful. The beets are doing well, even though the watermelon wants to take over it. But you know, it's, as long as the watermelon doesn't choke it out, it's good for your watermelon to hook into the ground around it. These are doing great, even, you know, though they're on weed cloth, they've still got places of dirt to kind of hook into, and I've still got, hilariously, look, gumball size ones. But anyway, today I'm going to mow. Everything needs a good mowing, but it's not quite 10 in the morning yet, so everything is still really wet. So I'm hoping, though we're not supposed to get a lot of sun, I'm going to wait till hopefully a little bit of sun peeks out and dries it up, because I need to mow the majority of the big yard, and I definitely need to get in here and do the chicken yard. I think I'm going to borrow my neighbor's push mower, but I let it get a little high, so I might just open the fence and go back in there with the riding mower. But every time I get on my riding mower, it's got a flat tire. I think it's ran over something. We got an air compressor, so I usually air it up and it stays up the whole time I'm mowing. But I noticed last week it slowly started going down. Not so low that I couldn't keep riding on it, but I could tell that it was losing some of its air pressure by the time I finished mowing. So I think it just needs plugged, but that's something I've never done. I could probably do it if I put my mind to it, but I'd rather Paul, he's good at it. He can do it quickly. I'd rather him come out, you know. He's got to do some boy stuff. So yeah, this is just a dirt pile that I'm weeding. Yeah, don't ask me why I'm weeding it. It's just something that, it's just annoying me. So I may end up throwing some of that over here with the old floor cleaning that I did yesterday or the other day. And you can tell that their floor is quite clean. It's got some shavings, but it's pretty windy, so stuff just kind of blowing around. But yeah, we'll take a peek at the flower garden and then we'll just call it into this video. Though I was going to mention, if anyone has any other thoughts about it, I told Paul for next summer, or well, this fall, I think I want to come off the roof here and make, I don't know if I really want it to be like a lean-to, but make a tin roof, at least probably, you know, I'd say from here over, which is probably about 5 feet, and then over, you know, at least as far as this post, and you know, diagonally over this corner of the chicken shack, and just frame out, you know, 4 posts and frame out a roof and put a tin roof over, just so that this area here, though it does end up going in the shade, so it can be another shady area, because I want to get a couple turkeys and I want to be able to put some higher roost out here for the turkeys. I mean, the turkeys may, I mean, at night they may want to go in. I'll try to shuffle them on to the coop. If I have to, I'll put a couple high roosts up above that table or in the coop for turkeys. But I'd like to get a pair. Maybe there's always people, you know, who need to rehome turkeys. But yeah, I'd like to get a couple turkeys. So we'll see. I'm not going to really bother getting anything young or really new probably till next spring, you know, unless I find out someone needs to rehome some turkeys before winter. Then, you know, I've got plenty of room in the coop run in the yard for a couple turkeys. But yeah, I think I'd like to get some of the what do they call them, royal palms. I love those black and white ones. But if they need a home, I don't, you know, it's not going to matter to me. Or if someone's got some like teenage poults that will be, you know, have enough feathers by the time winter gets here. Though, like I've said before, it's Delaware. We don't have harsh winters. So, wildflower garden up front is still doing well. Sorry if you're hearing a lot of wind noise. Like I said, I put the microphone on. But yeah, it's doing great. I need to pick some more sage because what I had picked, I dried out and used in my chicken salad. Yeah, that is like a great thing to put in chicken salad, sage. I make an awesome chicken salad if I say so myself. Paul loves it. But I use chopped walnuts in it. I use sage, dill relish, not a sweet relish. I use mayonnaise, but I also use about, well, it depends on how big a batch, and I don't measure stuff, but I also use a little bit of ranch dressing, probably about a 1/4 cup of ranch dressing in there. It adds just a nice burst of flavor and other seasonings. Plus, I put fresh celery in there. But anyway, it's awesome. So that's kind of about where we're at. Not much going on this Thursday. It's nice and cool. I'm probably going to come out and set my swing a little bit. I did get some mosquito bites this morning, so windy and cool or not, the mosquitoes are still want to munch on me. But yeah, they've had some scratch here and, you know, scratch out around this arc. But they're all like, this is their hangout spot. And I know Paul laughed, a few people laughed beginning. I said, well, I want them to have a little area that they can walk and pace down where they're not going to be in mud or grass. And they, about 2 or 3 times a week I have to spray it off with the jet sprayer, the hose, because they poop everywhere. But I've got some more of the forage grass in the house, and probably maybe today we'll see. I want to plan on focus more on mowing, and because once I put the foraging stuff down here, I have to put the hardware cloth over it. And I might affix that hardware cloth so I don't pull it up again, but I think if I did that, I would rather have a little bit larger. I think those are only ½ inch, maybe, not even, might be 1 inch squares, but I think they're like ½ inch squares. I would rather have a larger gauge. So I have extra chicken wire. I might just stretch chicken wire over there and staple it down. That way they can walk across it, but they can't get in there and scratch it up, because you can see what they've done. They have got every morsel of green out of there. And that's just a wide spot in this pallet and the Brahmas can fit right down in there, and they just, they've gone crazy. They still have a little bit of stuff growing, but they've pretty much gone through there and dug it all out. Oh, look, there's Neve. Neve decides she's going to sleep. She got her head tucked under her wing. So cool out here. They're enjoying it, but you can tell on her feathers that get it away from this hawk net house that she's molting. You can see she's starting to molt there on the back. See all that light gray stuff. But she's like, "It's cool. I'm gonna sit here and sleep." And they do. They like to walk across this, promenade back and forth, and of course, the boys like to stand up there on that little arch. That's what that's for. That small pallet is something that's just been there 3 weeks, and that is where one of the tire lanes of the old driveway goes. It's a low spot that comes from over there. I like to call it Lake Moira, where it'll make like a huge puddle of water, and then it kind of follows down this way and then out the old driveway. So that is just like a little bridge over there, so they can cross over to higher ground and not have to walk through the water. Not that chickens care. It's not like they complaining of, "We had to walk through the water again, woman." They don't mind. But anyhow, this is what they're doing on this very cool August 31st morning. Napping and snacking and just being chickens. So I'm going to leave them to it. Luna's fixing to head inside. Here she is, which means she's probably going to lay. Still waiting on one to start laying, and that is the dark brown black Easter egger. And I don't know where she's at right now. So maybe she's in there with her sister. She could be around the corner, but she might be in there in the nest box. She's been showing interest in it. Like the other day when I cleaned the coop, she was in there hanging out by herself, and really the only reason she would be in there by herself without her best friend and her companions would be because she was fixing to go lay an egg. So we'll see how they do. I'll know when they start laying, because these leghorn crosses are loud egg song singers. See, I'm standing here talking, but they've all come over here by the gate, decided that, "Oh, it has nothing to do with you, Mom. We just decided we had to have some peppermint right now." Though they have another pot of peppermint over there. But low flying helicopter, can't see it. Oh, they're finally popped out of the clouds. But yeah, this is their favorite area to hang out. So I'm glad I was able to provide them with this little walkway. Spoiled chickens. All right, well, I'm going in. The wind's picking up, and there's really not much more to chat about. Going to get things mowed this afternoon, and maybe I'll film a little bit of that later. But otherwise, everybody, tomorrow's September. Yay, fall's coming. Bye. Y'all have a great afternoon.